Welcome to Ideas for Impact, the channel where we talk all things sustainability in business. In this latest video, we're going to deep dive into a fun topic, ESG, but more importantly, quick ESG wins for any business. Obviously, implementing environmental, social, and governance, so ESG initiatives, can seem very daunting to many companies, especially small and medium-sized operations. But there are some very straightforward steps and activities that any company can start diving into to start making progress and commitments to sustainability and social good and impact. And we're going to explore 4 specific areas today of how your company can jumpstart on this journey towards sustainability and social responsibility. So let's dive in. First up, carbon footprint. I call this the non-negotiable for any business. If you're going to do anything to start off, it's to start figuring out A, what is your carbon footprint? And then B, how do we reduce the carbon footprint of our business and our operations? So this is a crucial step for any business to commit to. But you can start very simply. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. Anything from things like switching to more energy efficient lighting, to encourage hybrid work models. We've got the power of Zoom now, so we don't all have to be in a physical office, because that physical office always comes with a larger footprint. Of course, encouraging things like alternative transportation modes other than cars, so public transportation, bicycles, walking, ride sharing. Those are all different strategies for actually reducing a company's footprint. Of course, these changes can only reduce your footprint for a certain amount, but what they also do is reduce your operational costs of your business. And of course, the last sort of bit there too, in terms of a carbon footprint, you could always offset the carbon footprint that you have or portions of it. That is always a good resort. Next up, so our second area of focus is energy consumption. Of course, this directly relates to the carbon footprint, but energy consumption is such a big part of everything we do in business and in our organizations. Everything from, yes, that physical office, but also things like our computers, the manufacturing facilities that we have, the equipment we have, all of those pieces add up to energy usage that directly affects and goes into our environmental impact. And so first off, it's really understanding, from an energy audit perspective, what is the amount of energy we actually use through our operations, whether that's our headquarters or our manufacturing facilities or our retail spaces, or even our technologies. And whether, the solution then ends up being upgrading to more efficient equipment in your office or in your facilities, or simply adjusting things like a thermostat so that the temperature is lower, that will automatically sort of change your energy consumption in your office. So these small changes can actually add up to big reduction in energy use. And again, you guessed it, potentially cost savings for a company. The third area that a company can really, dive into straight away is something like we're flipping from carbon footprint and energy, and we're talking about policies and processes. Listen, every company, organization, government, university, you name it, everyone has policies and processes you follow, or you should have. Otherwise, it might be a hot mess in there. But these are parts of any company. This is where we can see, a commitment to environmental standards, a commitment to doing better from a social perspective for our employees, for our stakeholders. This is where we can make really big differences by adjusting these policies and processes so that they are considerate of all of the aspects of ESG. And this is really important. This is a really big piece. When we work with companies, we start looking at hey, what do your policies actually look like? Do you have these policies? And then what do they actually say? Do they include some of these important aspects? And then how do you actually, what are the processes that you lay out in your business of how to do a variety of different like standing SOPs, standard operating procedures. Everyone's got those as well. So really evaluating those, and are any missing from your policy library or portfolio. And you can start by just simply implementing a recycling program, so adding a new policy around recycling and waste, or a new revised procurement policy that actually considers environmental and social standards in decision making around procurement or purchasing decisions for your business. These initiatives demonstrate a commitment to sustainability, and can not only do good for your business, but they also engage employees in this ESG effort or sustainability effort, because they see this on the day-to-day, and so it makes sustainability really part of your corporate culture, part of your business, and not just something that the leadership has decided that is important, but you're now starting to really make sure that this is showing up in every aspect of the business, in every policy and process that you have under your wing as a company. And then lastly, but certainly not least, is this area where you can very quickly start committing to ESG by communicating, by engaging with your community, right? This not only is a checkbox exercise, but it's something that can have really lasting impact for your business, for your employees, for any interest holder that is part of your journey and your vision. Getting involved with local environmental or social projects that actually relate to the work you do in your business, whether, perhaps you are manufacturing something, perhaps you're in services, really thinking about, what kind of organizations or projects are related to the work that we do, and which ones can we commit to. And that can look like everything from, sponsoring a beach cleanup in your local community, or having your teams and employees volunteering at a local organization. It's participating in community development programs, or even hosting a community event that's happening locally. These engagements really enhance your company's reputation, not only internally, obviously, for your employees. If you're meaningfully committing to them, your employees will see that and understand that, and have their own ability to share those values with you, but this is a reputation piece for the outside world as well. When others in the community, whether they're other organizations, whether they're other just businesses, or just people in community, they understand and see that you're committed not only to your business and creating profit, but actually to also making the community and the economy around you stronger as well. And that connection to community is super critical. And quite honestly, any company can dive into this work. There are plenty of organizations, there's plenty of causes, in so many places around the world. There's no shortage of them. And so I encourage you to seek those out and see which ones are really related to the work you do, and ones that spark interest for you and your teams, and get your team engaged in picking perhaps what is a great community engagement project that your business can undertake. Starting this ESG journey can be really daunting. Many teams and organizations might not know where to start, like truthfully start, but it doesn't have to be that overwhelming. You can start out really with some of these these 4 key areas that we talked about, which is really, looking at your carbon footprint and figuring out how to reduce it, optimizing your energy consumption, looking at auditing, and then figuring out how to create better policies and processes that actually reflect your stance as a responsible and sustainable business. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, it's looking at, how do we engage with our community or communities that we're part of, and really figuring out how you can do that effectively, efficiently, and meaningfully with your leadership and your team. And so you can achieve these quick wins that can set the foundation of a lot of the work that you're going to do in sustainability. It allows you to test some things. It allows you to assess and audit your own capabilities and interests so that you can set yourself up to eventually, build out sustainability strategies to be a bigger actor on the ESG roadmap. And remember, this journey of sustainability, it's ongoing. It's a process, right? But every step towards it and to every step forward is progress, and it counts. Everything counts. It truly does. And these initial actions can really help build that momentum for you, for your ESG initiatives, for corralling your team and corporate culture around this and having them understand how important this is for you and your business. And it's not just your internal team. This makes a difference for all your interest holders, for your customers, for your investors, and yes, for your community that you're part of. When they see that you're starting to commit to figuring out how to create positive change, that is a big positive, and that can build momentum in many different ways. So again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching Ideas for Impact. Remember, together, we can really work towards a more sustainable and equitable world. And it does start with these small actions. And I know and believe that all of you can achieve those. But you got to start by doing one. So thank you. Please share any other ideas or actions that you've undertaken, and make sure to subscribe and join us in the next video.